Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. It's a glorious sunny summer's day here at down here at Circular Quay, and I'm just in the parkland just next to the wharves, and they've just mowed the lawn, and it just smells absolutely glorious. That smell of freshly cut grass is just something that takes me back to my childhood. Don't know what it is about it, but it just brings me back and takes me back to a place with wonderful memories and remembrance of the good old times when everything was well. My parents were healthy, family, all the relatives were around, and we had a great time. Anyway, let's kick off with another book summary. I'm going to continue along the vein of Willpower, and the book that I'm going to cover today is entitled Willpower, and it's written by an author by the name of Roy Baumeister. Roy Baumeister, who talks about the fact that willpower is important in our lives, but by the same token it has its limitations, which I wasn't aware of. I thought that if you had willpower, then you had willpower, but what we'll do is we'll go through the book summary and just evaluate it a little bit better. So I guess the author kicks off with an interesting point by stating that for most of us the problem is not a lack of goals, but rather too many of them. So what the author is suggesting is that we're surrounded by far too many distractions in our lives, which, if we're not careful, will bring us undone. We've got a lot of competing goals, a lot of competing challenges and issues and opportunities at the same time. And one of the tricks is to try and figure out which is the best one, and to stick to the ones which deliver the best outcomes. So let's talk about willpower, because it's something which is often misunderstood, and I was very interested to read about willpower here because I wasn't quite aware that willpower was limited and wasn't all that powerful. And if you depend on willpower, then you're going to be letting yourself down as well as people around you. So the author kicks off with his first major point, which suggests that your willpower works like a muscle. So like everything we have, it's like a muscle. So you have to use it or else you'll lose it. And so that's the first point, suggesting that it's like a muscle. So you can build willpower, you can develop willpower, and there are ways of developing willpower, but regardless of how much willpower you develop, you've got to understand that if you exercise it too much, it gets worn out. So, and there's a number of interesting outcomes that come from the lack of willpower that we have, or the lack of supply, or the endless, or the limited supply of willpower is best to describe it. And the author suggests that willpower is a daily sort of thing. So we've got a daily dose or a daily quota of willpower available to us, and it's limited, as we've suggested. And once you've used all your good decisions for the day, then you're basically done for the day. So we all need to try and figure out what our quota of willpower is, how much willpower we have, so that we don't use it up too quickly, and that we make sure that we direct our willpower to the things which are going to give us the biggest bang for the buck. And the author also goes on to talk about something which has always troubled me, and we've just seen it blow up recently in politics, where our Premier Gladys Berejiklian, who made the news just recently for a sex scandal with a married man. Whilst it's a private life, I thought that Gladys would have had her life in order in other ways, and she does have her life in order from a political perspective, from a administrative perspective. But what the author suggests here is that there are a lot of people who are under a lot of pressure, who make a lot of decisions, who have to deal with a lot of problems. But what happens is they end up making poor decisions in their personal lives, like succumbing to sexual escapades and things like that. And you see it happening all the time, and you just wonder, you're saying, well, you're such a powerful person, you're making so many powerful decisions, you're in control of so many things, and yet, you make a silly decision, and you go, why? Why does it happen? But the author is very, very succinct and very direct in reminding us that because willpower is limited in supply, if you're using your willpower to solve other people's problems, and if you're using your willpower to push off and fight off challenges left, right and centre, once that willpower has evaporated and the quota has been depleted for your daily quota, for your daily use, then any what's the word I'm looking for? Any temptation which comes your way at a point where you're at your weakest may get you making decisions which are not going to be empowering and at their very best. So that's helped me understand a little bit better why good, strong, powerful people who exert tremendous control and willpower sometimes fall by the wayside and make some absolutely stupid decisions which are uncharacteristic. And we hear it all the time. How did he do that? How did she end up going out with him? What did she see in him? Or what did he see in her? And the reason is that the him or the her have basically got the other person at a weak point. Either they've been intoxicated, either they've been overwhelmed by overuse of their willpower throughout the day, having made some tough decisions, and they just fall. They just fall like little birds, and easily preyed upon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's move on from that, but that is a great insight, a powerful insight that I really, really enjoyed. The second point that the author makes in this book is that the more power you develop, the more willpower you develop, the faster you'll build it. So you need to train it by using it. So you need to build willpower in the first place. So willpower doesn't come naturally. So what we're trying to suggest here is that while willpower is limited in its scope, you can actually build a reservoir of willpower by exerting self-control. So learning how to develop self-control is a way of building your willpower. So the way you start self-control is by starting small and building it step by step, and that way you're able to build more and more self-control and build your willpower. So the author suggests here that the speed with which your available willpower for the day decreases as you exercise it more. So I guess the trick is to try and hold back on using your willpower as much as you can, and to pace yourself throughout your day. So it's all about sticking to a budget in terms of your willpower and learning up front how much willpower you actually have. And the only way you can learn how much willpower you have is by testing yourself time and time again. And what you may want to do is you may want to have a diary of willpower and just see for how long you can stick to something until you buckle and start making unresourceful decisions. Then the author makes a third key point in the book, and the author suggests that in order to make the most of your willpower and your self-control, you need to try and have compatible and clear goals, and leave some flexibility for willpower fatigue, and to know that you're going to fail, know that you're going to express weakness at some point in time, know that you're going to have a few drinks, know that you're going to be surrounded by people who are going to be propositioning you, for example, or people who are going to be trying to distract you or lead you down a path that you wouldn't normally go down. So you need to just be aware that that is going to be happening, and just to keep some willpower up your sleeve, or maybe even decide earlier that if X, Y and Z happens, you're going to do A, B and C, for example. So to have a plan B, to have a plan C, just so that you've predetermined and pre-decided on what your action is going to be when certain things happen. Say for example, you're in a car, somebody gives you a lift home after a night out, and before the end of the night comes up, they proposition you, then you need to have a plan of exit, rather than trying to figure out there and then what you're going to say and get yourself into an awkward mess. So the author is suggesting that you have goals which are compatible and fit together and work together, and which are self-regulating. So that's something that you may want to consider. For example, going to the gym and listening to a podcast as opposed to sitting there and not doing anything. Now, there are ways that you can make the most of your time, and I guess other things you can do is just to just remove all the junk food from your fridge or from your house, so that when you are feeling unresourceful and weak and you're probably at your most tempted, then you don't have something to grab hold of and to eat. So that's something you may want to consider. So and the other thing is that we must try and be aware and to avoid conflicting goals, because they cause cognitive dissonance. And when you've got cognitive dissonance, then you get distracted, you get upset, you get angry, you get emotional. And when you get emotional, then you're probably at your worst point in terms of making unresourceful decisions. And then you seek comfort in food, comfort in sex, comfort in company, and you may end up, or comfort in alcohol. And then each of those decisions lead to further troubling decisions and cause you further strife. So try and not have too many goals which are conflicting, or to be hanging out with people who are going to cause cognitive dissonance and to be challenging all the time and basically trying to suggest that you're wrong and invalidate you. So your goals should be clear but not over specific is one of the messages from the book. And you need to make adjustments. You need to make room for adjustment, and to know that every now and then you're going to cheat in terms of having a cheat meal. I'm not talking about having a cheat on your partner, but you're going to fail along the way, and not to get overly down on yourself, but to pick up your socks and move on. You're going to date the right people, you're going to hang out with the wrong people, you're going to say the wrong thing, but as long as it doesn't become something which overwhelms you and something that traps you, then it's something that you shouldn't worry too much about, because you can just get on with life and get over it Anyway, let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and stay reasonable. And most importantly, let's just understand once and for all that the whole myth of willpower is something that we need to get our head around, and to understand that even the most stubborn person who has the most willpower will buckle under pressure. I remember learning years ago that whenever you're out with somebody who's an authority or has a job to do, and you ask them to do something, the first thing they're going to say is no. The default answer for most people is no. They're going to say, no, you can't do it. But always remember, the no that they say actually means maybe. So when somebody says no the first time, you've got to understand that that's their default position. No, they always start with no. The second time you go, there may be another no, but it's a weaker no, because you're wearing them down, you're grinding them down, you're basically weakening their willpower with every time you go. And usually by about the third time, you propose, you pop the question, you ask, you insist with emotion and with passion, then the person will probably give up and say, well, just go away and do it, just don't tell anybody. So there you go. So remembering the first no is probably a no. The second no is a maybe, and the third no is just do it and just don't tell anybody. And that's how most people operate. So you've got to understand that you're just got to keep on going, keep on trying, keep on attacking, keep on persevering, because sooner or later, every single person will buckle under the pressure, and it's all about getting them at their weakest point, but also being knowledgeable to know that you don't let other people get you at the weakest point, and to know the game, understand the game of willpower, and understand the game that people will be playing with you to try and weaken your willpower. So I guess that's about it. So let's finish off. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and we'll chat again tomorrow from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment. We'll see where it leads us, but hopefully it'll get us through the morning, get us through the day, and teach us something new, something powerful, something that we could implement, something that may change our lives for the better. Anyway, let's live, learn, and pass it on, and we'll chat again. And thank you for joining me on this other episode of Jim's 5am Club, and I look forward to coming to you again. Bye for now.